I've been involved with Light and Land for over 20 years now, so I think I was one of the original tutors in the very early days when things were just getting going. And in those days I was working very much as a wildlife photographer, working with the BBC on big international projects. And so we decided to run a couple of tours in the UK which mixed landscape and wildlife, because wildlife was really where I came from. And so since then I've been gradually increasing the amount of landscape photography I do, and I now run various tours which are very much landscape based, with some wildlife if we come across it. So for example, the tour I do every year in Scotland to Knoydart, which is a very successful tour. It's been running now for, I think, it's the 14th year that it's been running, and it's mainly a landscape based tour where we visit little islands, and it's very sort of, you really have to explore, a place where you have to explore the landscape to find your images. So it's not the sort of big views, not the very obvious stuff. So I think that's a particular tour that attracts people who want to develop their photography and really sort of discover what they want out of landscape photography. So I've been doing things like that, and then if we come across wildlife, we photograph it. So for example, on this last year we had a pod of 50 dolphins around the boat, which was absolutely amazing, and so we were all photographing them. And then we went past some seabird colonies, so we have kittiwakes and guillemots all flying around us, and so it's really a very spectacular place, and you make the most of the opportunities that arise. And so having both a sort of wildlife and landscape background myself, I can help people with both those genres of photography, as well as both sides of the equation, as it were. And then also on that tour we stay in a place where you've got a space where we can sit down and review images. Often in a week in Scotland you might get the odd half day of bad weather, so we normally pick that for having a look at the images people have shot during the week, and so that's a very useful sort of feedback which they get immediately during the tour. And then I also do sort of broader ones like New Zealand a couple of years ago, and Greenland a few years before that, and various other ones as well, which are sort of more international tours. The image in this exhibition was taken on a place called Lag Bay on the Isle of Egg. It's a very spectacular beach. It's about nearly a mile of beach, and it's got this extraordinary combination of yellow sand and black sand, and the way the tide sifts the sand, and as the water washes over it and then retreats, you get a different pattern on every wave pretty well. And then at low tide, the beach is just covered in these extraordinary patterns in the sand. And this is the image in this exhibition is a close-up of one of those patterns. I mean, you could spend, well, we do, pretty much a whole day just walking around that beach, looking at patterns in the sand, looking for details. But you've also, actually, on that beach, you've got a fantastic big view as well, because you've got the Isle of Rum in the background. And so you've got this spectacular background, this beautiful island with really sharply defined peaks, then the sea, and then the beach in front of you. So you've got this incredible progression right through a wider image. But I think the details in the sand are the kind of exciting bit. They're never the same. Some years you go and the patterns aren't brilliant, and other times you go and they're absolutely extraordinary and completely compelling. And that image in the exhibition it's just one of my favourites, because it's a stronger pattern in the sand. A lot of them are all rather sort of feathery and whatever. This is quite a strong image by comparison.